Hello, 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 goddesses. I am really excited today. I'm here with Abiola from Womanifesting and Abiola TV. And I think a lot of my viewers are looking forward to this. That's what they said. Oh, I don't know if you know Abiola. I did a review, I did a deck review.
You did?
I did. I have a deck review video up. Yes, I
It
did.
might be the very first one for this deck because, oh my gosh, so exciting. Okay,
I
good.
know. Anyway, so guys, I'm going to let Abiola introduce herself. I just say we have a lot of overlaps. I've admired her channel for years. We've been planning to do like interviews for a while. Just she's super busy. We overlap on the goddess, the divine feminine, and a lot of other things. So, Abiola, welcome. Just say a little bit about yourself.
Hello, my good sis. So I am so excited. Hello, everybody. Thank you for coming to hang out with us. Right now, good afternoon, good evening, good morning, depending on where you are in the world. I am an oracle creatrix. I am an author. I am a mommy, first and foremost. I am an international retreat leader, and my work is all about helping big vision women to get out of our own way and to have the lives that we deserve, really. So, my work comes back to that. But then the modalities that I use a lot of ancestral practices. It's about reclaiming our power. It's about Sankofa, the energy of we must go back and get it, and all through the lens of the juicy divine feminine. So that is who I am. That's what my work is. And as Goddess Vivian said, we have so much alignment. So I'm really excited about this conversation as well.
Yes, yes. So, welcome those of you who are live. Welcome to those of you from the future who are going to watch on the replay. So, I've got some questions for Abiola. I'm going to pull them up, and if you haven't seen it yet, I did, like I said, there's a deck review. Now, Abiola, I did not show every card because I'm like, go out, purchase. I showed about a third of them, and I do have some favorites that I want to show during our conversation. So the first thing,
I'll show them the box so they can see the box.
oh, absolutely, yeah, it's so colorful.
This is the
So
box,
colorful.
and I want to just give love to another beautiful sister, Goddess Destiny Powell, who this is the third deck we did together. We did a trilogy together, starting with African Goddess, Rising Oracle, and then Secrets of the Ancestors Oracle, and then Faces of Oshun Oracle deck.
The ancestors one, I'm also very much drawn to. So yeah, that was part of what I was going to ask you. Just what inspired you on this particular deck, the Faces of Oshun deck? What was your inspiration? Maybe give us a little backstory.
Yes. So this deck has been wanting to be born, to be frank with you, sis, for a long time. This deck actually, let me just go a little bit further back. So although I have these three decks that are published by a larger publisher, before then, a very long time ago, like maybe 10 years ago or so, or even maybe longer, longer, I have done indie decks for a long time, like before Oracle decks were a big thing, before people even knew what it was. Like, I'm not new to this, I'm true to this, I'm old enough that I've been doing this all like a very, very long time, like, to give folks who know, before I even knew like how to get decks printed, I was printing them on Vistaprint, which was like an old business card website, and then on moo.com. Yeah, because I didn't know, but I had this that had to come out, So
right.
I will get these nudges, these pushes from the ancestors, and it's like, things have to come out, like it has to be born. And so when I started my relationship with Hay House, with my current publishing family,
and congratulations, by the way, that's a big deal because there are not many of us Black women and women of color who are able to work with such a large, that they see us. So that's fantastic.
Thank you. And may that continue to expand and change and grow, thank you. Long gone are the days when people used to think, like one Black person in the door, or, a lot of us of our generation grew up being the lonely only, or, a lot of folks get in the door and then try to kick the door closed so others come behind them because they think, like we grew up like in the era of, there was like, oh, well, are you Naomi or Tyra? Are you
scarcity?
And we're not in that at all. When we thrive, when one of us thrives, it leaves a capacity for all of us to thrive, and all of us can thrive. And so this deck, the Faces of Oshun deck, kept wanting to come through, but the timing was not in alignment. Because there is, of the universal laws, divine timing is a big one. Mm-hmm. And so first it was, okay, the goddesses and ancestors wanted the African goddess rising oracle to come out. That was a bigger journey through goddesses and ancestors, queens throughout the diaspora. And then it was the ancestors, which for me was Secrets of the Ancestors Oracle deck, was a unique exploration for me because it plays in the field of the divine masculine as well as the divine feminine. And then finally, the ancestors, tapped me on the shoulder and said, all right, little girl, come on, it's time. Faces of Oshun, this is what we are doing. And I've had a very long relationship with Oshun. My initiation was back in 2004 in Cuba, and I'm old school, so I don't really talk about that much. But I have had a very, very long relationship with Oshun, so I'm excited that it is finally time to bring forward this force of nature in this way.
Wow. Okay. So you were initiated.
Yeah.
Wow. And you went to Cuba. Impressive.
And I don't, because in 2004, well, we won't get into it, but
yeah. No, I know. I get you. So this is part of like a suite of offerings that you are doing. I did want to show I want to show a couple cards, and then maybe have you also share how can goddesses use it in their day-to-day because I am also very much about intuition. And I think that many modern women, and this is not blaming, I think this is just really what's happening. We're forced to function in a way that I label a little bit more masculine. And I'm not talking about being frilly, I'm not a frilly girl. I'm not talking about getting your nails done like that. I'm talking about the way we're forced to kind of disassociate a bit from our body, especially as Black women, right? There's so much about our bodies that we get some negative feedback on, appearance and all of that. And so I feel like a lot of us have gone into kind of a masculine mode of, we get stuff done. We get it done. Yes. We get a sense of empowerment from that. But what we've left is one of the main things is that intuition, that inner knowing, that guidance, that you're talking about, and I really want women to feel comfortable with that, with connecting into that. And that's where I think this deck can be so beautiful. It's one of my favorites is the Creatrix, because it makes me think of like Jimi Hendrix, like a 19.
I can get that. Yes.
You see it?
Yes.
I love this card.
I love that you said you get the energy of Jimi Hendrix. I have a beautiful, unique journey with the way that these cards are born through creating, sketches. It involves a very elaborate spreadsheet. It involves, very deep dive spiritual work for each and every card, like going on a spiritual journey for each and every card. And then, the energy of that card, the energy of that entity, the energy of that Orisha tells me how, what is the how it wants to present itself in that way.
To be expressed, how it wants to be expressed.
Exactly. And with this deck, because it's a deep dive into Oshun, whereas the other decks are, multiple different, spiritual personalities, this one is really really reflective of, as divine feminine beings, who are going to be attracted to this conversation, we all have multiple facets and multiple things that make us up. And it is the same thing with any Orisha, any spiritual presence. So there's the dark, there's the light, there's the fulgure. And with this card, very much I was feeling like, like the energy of like my shirt goes with it too. And this is perfect for spring equinox energy. And so I love that you got that from this. I love that.
Yeah, it's a wild energy. It's exuberant.
Yes.
I'm an artist, as you may know, and so sometimes the word may seem like weird to put with art, but that's what we would say. It's like it just has an exuberance.
Visual artist. I am too. I actually went to art school. I went to art school. Another thing we have in common.
I did not know that. I did not know that.
Yeah. One of the things I'm working my way up to energetically is doing the art for one of my own decks, but I haven't done that in a public way yet. I've done it privately, but not in a public way yet. And actually, I wanted to share with you something you just said that, I can completely relate to when you were talking about how a lot of us are what I call over yanged.
Yes, exactly. You can just use yin yang.
For many years, I'm a New Yorker, so I was very much like, rest when you're dead, energy. Yes.
Get it done. Just get it done.
Yes. I grew up in New York back in the day when I grew up, like back in the 90s, they used to say, if you got a problem, put an H on your back and handle it straight up. Like that was the way, so it was. So I think that for me, moving into doing this divine feminine work, we teach what we most need to learn was as much a salve for me, for my soul, for my, energy, for my ancestors as it is for anyone else's.
Wow, wonderful. Folks, get ready. Any questions that you may have about maybe her creative process, about the goddess Oshun herself, put your questions in the live chat. And replay folks, put your questions as well. So speaking of the dark and the light, this Oshun floods. I actually just really saw this one. And I love how beautifully dramatic it is, right? Look at this.
Yes. Wow. And so it's very important for me with each Oracle deck that comes through me, because it's not me as the originator, they're just coming through me, to have the totality of experience, so it's not, if you're looking for happy, joy,
love and light, butterflies.
That's not what this is. My decks will tell you about yourself to your face, like any good auntie or uncle that you may have in your family. As Black folk globally, like this is who we are and what we do. And this card, Oshun Flood, show it again.
Yeah.
This is the energy of, all of us have had the experience. Yes, the experience of, being at our best, being at our worst. It's the energy of spite, the energy of malice, if we have an Orisha who represents love, you can't have love, the energy of love, without the energy of hate.
You have to have that. Yeah.
Sword, even though they say the opposite of love isn't hate, it's indifference, but it's all parts of the same continuum. And so that is an important, very, very important card and an important energy for us to heal as well.
It is, because it's a shadow. It can just be a shadow. So if this comes up, if this came up, because I do, what I'm doing lately is combining readings with energy work, distance energy work. I have to say Reiki just because that's what folks know. And this wouldn't be a negative card. This might be helping us to understand things that are suppressed, that, as that might be impacting us, that we don't know because it's our shadow, right? So it's like, and that's very powerful. So I really like that one as well.
That's it, exactly. I'm smiling, Goddess Viv, because I didn't know that you were doing those readings, and I do that as well. This morning I sent out my goddess energy reading for the equinox. So this is,
what? That's great. I stopped doing the general ones. I found the general ones hard to grasp. Does that make sense? Like they're, what I'm saying? I mean, you're trying to like feel into a group. It's just felt like too big for me. What
Yes,
I like doing is like one person,
I
and
love
I'm,
that.
I'm literally working with their chakra energy. And because of now having this beautiful deck, honestly, I have one other deck I use. And so I do divination after to kind of like what came up and to get them answers and information. This is another one that I really love. I just love
Yes, this is
this.
third eye. Yes, yes.
Yeah, Ocean's Third Eye, just beautiful. Yeah, I love. Do you want to say anything about this one or any other one as well? But I
I,
love this. The
and I pulled a card
futuristic.
for, I pulled a card also for, I'm putting a card for your goddesses who comment. So I have a card for Goddess KK, but let's talk about this
Okay.
one.
Oh, I love that. I
Yeah.
love that.
Wait,
From
so
the originator, you guys, that is very unusual to be able to get that. So for being
yeah.
here, great. Okay.
Yes. So I think that very much, the fact that you pulled this card just as we were talking about on the equinox, and for everyone who's watching this in the future, this applies to you as well. This is very much the card of tapping into your intuition. It's exactly what we're saying, your third eye chakra, trusting the energy of, opening yourself up to, if a lot of us, if you are out of alignment with your divine feminine energy, you are out of alignment with your own intuition, which is a sacred gift that was given to you, So when you're watching, healers like Goddess Viv, and you're watching, these wonderful people who you feel like, wow, look at all these gifts that she has and she does. You have these gifts as well. You just may not know how to read them or how to access them or be receiving the
Yeah.
guidance and receiving the information. And so I think that that's why this energy came up and you pulled that card for us while we're talking about that.
Really interesting. I just want to welcome you if you're just coming in. We are talking to Abiola. Abiola Abrams is the creatrix of this deck, Faces of Oshun. So if you're just joining, I'm going to say that, because folks come and go, they may be
Yeah,
having supper, breakfast, whatever.
yeah.
And so, yeah, what did you want to share? You were going to
So
say,
okay,
yeah.
so for Goddess KK, who I don't think I know. Hi, nice to meet you, Goddess KK. The energy that came forward for you is Oshun of resurrection. Oshun of
Wow, put that closer. Oh, yes, she's got the wings.
yeah,
Yes.
yes, and this is the energy of rebirth, the energy
Mhm.
of transformation, and the energy of renewal, which again is very much spring equinox energy, the energy of awakening, of renewal, of rebirth. And so if I were you, Goddess KK, I might look at if there's an area in your life that you are wanting a fresh start on, or even maybe a complete reinvention. And of course, be gentle and be loving and be compassionate with yourself. But just know that, okay, this is a good signal that, green lights ahead for me to step into a new energy, for me to step in and do something new. If we keep do what we've been doing, we're going to keep getting what we've been getting. So you may want to start just by shedding some things that are not working. Oftentimes if we don't know how to move forward, just start by just clearing, cleansing, even, for me, cleaning your house. Cleaning is a very potent spiritual practice,
Absolutely. Absolutely. Releasing.
releasing. Absolutely. Doing that, I think would be very much in alignment for you right now, Goddess KK.
Wow. Thank you for that. KK. Oh, great. Yeah. Let me put up her comment. Actually, Abiola, I'm not sure. Can you pop up comments too if you want? Feel free if you can't.
I don't think I can. Let me try. No, I don't. I
Okay.
can't.
Okay. I will try to pop them up. And
Okay.
now, could you do one for Gigi? Gigi's a longtime channel member. Gigi,
Hello,
the Empress. Let me put her.
Hello, Wendy. So just a little bit of deck maintenance. So when you purchase the deck,
Yeah.
definitely use the guidebook. The guidebook, I teach you how to bless the deck and prepare the deck the first time that you use it. A lot of folks think that you're cheating somehow if you're using the guidebook. No, I use my own guidebook all the time. And other deck creators that I know, they use their own guidebook as well. So use the guidebook. One of the things you want to do if you're reading for other people, in a situation like this, is you want to clear the energy of the deck in between the readings. So you can do that with sound and mantra. You can do that with prayer. You can do that with smoke. You can do that a number of different ways. I like to just use, in a situation like this, I knock on the deck, and
That's what I do. That's what I do.
you
Yeah.
do.
Yeah. And I swear, I don't think I got that from somebody. I don't know. It's just like, okay.
I love that. Yes. So that's how I do it. I do the clear in between. Okay. So this is, we're reading now for Goddess Gigi. And Gigi, I am actually working on a novel where a fictional work to come out that's going to come out next August. And one of the characters is named Gigi, and she's actually a very sexy, vivacious character. So I don't know about this Goddess Gigi over here, but
I think happy that fits Gigi.
Does
she's
it?
Mom, yes. But she's yeah,
okay. Yeah. Yes. Okay. All right. So Gigi, let's see, what are you needing to know for right now?
And everybody who's here, just sort of center yourself, and maybe this will be a message, a collective message as well, is what I'm feeling actually.
Yes. Okay. All right. So talk about an explosion of color and energy. And I just talked about Gigi's vivaciousness. This is Oshun's desire.
Interesting.
Exactly what we just talked about. Okay. And this is the energy of passion, of longing, and of drive. Passion, Goddess Gigi, is the energy for you. And if you're watching this in the future, you're watching this on replay, there's something that's called cledons, meaning that if someone's giving a reading for someone else and it feels like it is talking to you, it is. So just because I'm talking to Gigi or KK or whoever, it doesn't mean that I'm only speaking to them. If it feels like it applies to you, it does. All right. So Gigi,
and that's why they're here. That's why they're here.
That's why they're here.
I'm going to pop the deck. I'm going to pop a link into the deck. You keep talking, Abiola. Let me just see if I can.
Okay. Because I'm also seeing. I think I'm not able to put things in the chat. I'll check and see. But so Gigi, so for you right now, the word is passion. And this can mean romantic passion, but it can also mean creative passion. Like if there's something right now in your life that you are passionate about, lean into it. And if there isn't, you need to get passionate about something. This is a good season for that. This is sacral chakra energy, Goddess, the energy of creation and creativity, the energy babies are made from. Okay. So think about what you are needing or wanting to create in your life. And like I said, if there's not something you can think of, get something. This is great energy for you right now. This is the spring blossoming energy. This is the energy
can you hold it up closer again? Put it right up to the camera.
Yes. So let's see. Is it gonna? Okay. It's still.
There we go. Wow. I'm getting I'm getting a Beyonce with the hair. I'm getting a Beyonce.
Very much that energy.
Yeah.
Very much that energy.
Let's see. Okay. What do you think? Do you have any response? Does that trigger anything for you in terms of what you want to create?
Let us know what your thoughts are.
That is fantastic. That is so generous of you, because we didn't plan this. I wasn't like, okay, Abiola, you're gonna be pulling cards. I don't want to ask people like, No.
Hopefully it's not disrupting the flow of what you have.
This is fantastic. Let's see what Gigi says. Gigi says, you pre-ordered it.
Yeah. Yay, wonderful. Okay. Oh, and her full name, Gigi the Empress. Yes.
The Empress.
Yes. This is so Goddess Gigi. So what I want to see, I already shuffled and the card is somewhere in the deck. But what I would love for you to do, Goddess Gigi, is if you have somebody who can take pictures of you, or if you want to just set up your camera and take them yourself, this is a good time to take, the same way she looked at that picture that Goddess Viv looked and said, "Ooh, she's getting like Beyonce energy."
Yeah, like
you to take a vivacious, beautiful picture of yourself right now, just to remind yourself of your own sacral chakra power. And I love that she's doing sacral chakra healing right now.
Yeah. Wonderful. Yeah. Oh, I'm so glad, Gigi. Yeah. Let's see. We got Mama Love. Let me just say hi to some folks, give you a chance to rest your voice too. So Mama Love. Hey, Mama Love. Let me put you up on the screen. She's a reader and seer. Yeah, get this deck genuinely. And like I said, I need to check out the ancestors deck, because I do some shamanic work with the ancestors. So I did put a link, and it is
that we should be sending you that the ancestors deck.
Oh, I would love that. Okay, absolutely. So guys, I did put the link in it. That is my Amazon link. I get like, 20 cents. I don't know, at no cost to you. And the link is also below the video for the replay folks. So if you are a reader, I think it's going to be a wonderful deck to have. And now also I want to say this deck, of course, empowers Black women, but this is how my mind thinks. I'm like, everybody needs to have this, right? Any
Yeah.
woman who is into the divine feminine, who works with a goddess energy, she needs a deck that represents, just to have, I mean, the beauty of the deck. Do you know what I'm saying? So can you speak
Yes,
on that a little bit?
absolutely. Yes. So, so two things. So before I forget, I want to remember to share with everyone that with the launch with the launch of the deck, celebrating the launch of the deck, that I have like a bunch of free things that you can get. So I'll give the link to that in a little
Yeah.
bit. I'll put it, but look, well, let me give it to you because I can't put it into the chat, but I'll give it to you. And
Yeah,
then
give it in the private chat is great. So
yeah,
you're doing like some special, what I think, yeah,
yeah,
she's going to
a
have
whole
like
bunch of
little,
like
oh, that's
fun stuff. So
fantastic.
I'll talk about that in a little bit. But first, what I want to say is that there. So with this deck and with all of the work that I do that has an African basis, because that is who I am, that the way that I look at it when people say, am I allowed to use this deck? Am I allowed to use this, this book or this practice, depending on what it is? My personal guidance that I've received from my guides. I used to be a very heavy gatekeeper in this area. I will share with you, to be honest. But the guides then said to me, you can't own the river. You can't own the wind. You can't own the forces of nature. And my ancestors subtly and not so subtly reminded me that in this very same way that I have benefited from Hindu culture, in the very same way that I've benefited from the Kabbalah, in the very same way that I've benefited from many of the practices, the global practices that I have studied, the spiritual medicine that then is a part of my sacred medicine that I put forward, in the very same way the sacred medicine that is coming through me is for those who are reaching for it. And I love that. That excites me. That makes me so happy.
I got chills when you first started to say that as you were speaking, right when we saw where you were going. It's like in terms of holding the river, because I do think there are some in our community, and I understand where it's coming from, but I just, I think we're at this stage, we're past that only because we need all this wisdom. Like the boat is sinking.
We need it. That's what it is. Exactly.
The boat is sinking.
All hands on deck. All hands on deck. Right.
So it's going to help others to have access and to see these images, whether they're Asian, whether they're Southeast Asian, whatever, whether they're into Celtic spirituality, and they're like, oh, I have never heard of Oshun. Right. Yeah. So this is what, to me, spirit wants right now. Now, I really feel that.
That's it. Exactly. I feel that so strongly in my bones. The way that I feel it is, if right now, say that Goddess Vivian had access to a medicine, a physical medicine during the pandemic that could help heal all of us, and she decided to hoard it and hold on to it and say, nah, I can't have it. Like, oh my goodness, like how out of alignment would that be with spirit, So that's exactly what it is, that this is sacred medicine, so that these decks, this work, we get together and we have, fun and joy and jubilation with it, but also there's the shadow, and it's very, serious and heavy and important work to our own personal evolution, and it's sacred medicine, and it's very important that we share it.
Yes, it is. It is. And so, guys, if you also have any questions while you have her here, maybe how to work with the deck, ask them, get them in the chat now, get them in the live chat right now so that, Abiola can address it, because again, it's very rare. Abiola, honestly, do you mind? I want to show something that it will involve showing a card from another deck, but it's going to blow your mind.
Well, let me
I
say this.
have to show it.
Oh,
Yeah.
whatever. Like I'm like, you know, like
Okay.
show me whatever. And then Mama Love, I'm vibing with some stuff that you said that I'm going to talk about in a second, and I'll pull a card for you. So
All
Mama
right.
Love,
For Mama Love.
Put a number in the chat, please, between 1 and 11. Okay, so please go ahead.
Okay. So I draw for myself every day, as a lot of my regulars know. And so there's a deck I'm loving called the Starseed Oracle. It's very, very different. This is the back.
I have that.
Look at the front of it, the Hathors, and see what it says.
Oh, yeah.
Love, mother's milk, birth is a portal.
Yes.
Which is about accepting the sense that you really are loved, you're held by the goddess. I pulled your new deck. So I pulled this under tarot, and look at what I got. You can't make this up.
Oshun of mother's milk. I was just gonna get the card for you. Yes. I just got
this is the message. This is when people are like, oh, I don't believe that woo-woo stuff. No, this is not an accident.
You cannot make this up. You cannot make this up.
I got chills. So let me hold up from your deck here. So mother's milk.
Yes. Oh my God.
Nourishing her baby, and it says Oshun of mother's milk, nurturing. What is that? The second one, harvest, prosperity.
Yes.
I mean, and literally the same words, mother's milk. Come on, guys. That's not coincidence. I have to show that.
I love that. Oh my gosh, I just got chills. And it's so funny because I did an event with Colette Baron Reed, and we were pulling cards together and reading for the audience. And it was the exact same experience where we were pulling, like she would pull like truth, you know, the truth card from her deck, and then I would pull, and it would be, you know, truth knows or whatever the version of the same.
Wow.
While we were on stage, and so it was exactly that. You can't make this stuff up.
Yeah.
Not make this stuff up. Beautiful.
We live right before you're gonna pull, but we live in a living universe, and I do think that that's what our society is missing. Those of us who have become almost too materialist. I don't mean materialistic, but materialist and scientific. And science isn't bad, but it's dead. It's a dead universe. It's just a mechanical. That's not true. That is just not true.
It's not true at all. In fact, we have a book that's coming out in June. We can't talk about it yet because you don't have it. But it's the sequel to this. This was my last book, From Imagination to Reality, and the book that's coming out in June is named The Divine Frequency, and it's universal laws. It's exactly what you were just talking about. The fact that this is not a dead universe. You know, that science, in my opinion, is catching up with spirituality. It's all the same. Energy created or destroyed, an object at rest, an object in motion, emotion. It's all the same thing.
It's amazing. It is. So there's always guidance for us. There's always guidance, because I think especially now, Abiola, I'm seeing especially young people are feeling disconnected. I'm hearing it from friends who have teenagers into young adults that the epidemic just decimated them, left them really kind of scarred. Multiple women are telling me that, of all different backgrounds. And I just want them to understand we're not alone. There is support. But it's about tapping in, dropping in, a certain amount of quiet, which is challenging. When you're young, it's hard to, it doesn't have to be quiet. Some people it's dance. Spirit just said that to me. For some people, it might be through dance and movement that they kind of can connect, right? So I just wanted to say that.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. Oh my goodness. I'm loving this conversation so much. So Mama Love.
Oh, let's put up Mama Love. Okay, Mama Love, and we'll get to Mel.
Yes, that she had, and she pulled number 11. And I was here also like having a little kiki and cracking up, looking at her comments, because the same novel that I'm talking about, there is two Gullah Geechee characters, Geechee Gullah characters in the novel as well, and she says that is her heritage. And so
yes, she did.
When that comes out, it's coming out. That book is not the book coming out next year. It's coming out this year. It's the book coming out next year. We'll have to come back and have.
You're just on fire, girl. What's that? What's this like production?
I think it's interesting. It's not even production. It's
what like unfolded for you.
Unfolding. That's the word. Actually, it's just the door, like and receptivity. that, you know, I feel like at any moment in time, for me anyway, that, you know, there are a number of things waiting to be born, you know, and it's either we say yes to them or we say not now.
Or it goes to somebody else. I have to tell you this.
Right.
I did not plan to say this to you, but I'm not lying to you. I heard, I don't know if you probably put out your first deck, but I was like, you know, you could do a goddess deck, you could do, and I just wasn't feeling it. And I know spirit will be like, okay, I'll come around next time. And then I was like,
yes,
because it wants to come out, and who's going to bring it out? Who's going to birth it?
I do that all the time. And so right now, I think I'm just in a season of yes. So the ways that the energy come through, and actually, let me just share this. Many, many years ago in New York, I had the good fortune of meeting the late great Melvin Van Peebles. And so for young folks who don't know him, he was like a part of what the quote unquote blaxploitation, you know, actor, producer, you know, all of these kinds of things. And for me, being a multi-hyphenate artist, like some of the things I'm sharing are honestly like the tip of the iceberg, being a person that, you know, has a lot of different artistic interests, I will say. One of the questions I had the opportunity to ask him, you know, have a conversation with him. The question that I asked him was, how do you know if something is coming through you, whether it is a song, a deck, a book, a screenplay, you know, like how do you know what it is? And he said,
like the form of it.
And he said, let the work tell you. He said, let the work tell you, let spirit speak through you, and let the work tell you. And so that's what I've been doing. That's what I've been doing. Okay, so Mama Love.
Okay, so pulling from Mama Love right now.
Mama Love. And Oshun has already been dreaming you. And yes. All right. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. And as you guys can see, as you goddesses can see, I do just a very basic shuffle. Some people do very elaborate shuffles. All are correct. All are correct. Whatever works for you works for you. Yeah. All right. So let's see. All right. So all right. So we got another explosion of energy card for you. This is one of my favorite cards in the deck, Mama Love. This is Oshun of Miracles, card number 43 for my. Let me see. I'm trying to.
Okay. I don't even think I've seen that one.
Yeah, number 43. And energy of divine synchronicity, unexpected blessings, and hope. Oshun of Miracles. Oshun of Miracles. And this says for you, this is the energy of all I do is win. This is the energy of every day, in every way things are working out for me. This is the energy of this is my season. So this is beautiful energy.
Wait, was it this one? Is this one?
No. Wait, it's hard to. Yes, that's it. Yes,
that is it. Okay. I think it's a little
better lighting. Yeah, it's better on your side. They can see it more clearly. Yes.
Wow.
Yeah. And with this card, like one of the vision that I had for it was just this prism of light explosion of visual miracle energy. And that's what we are seeing here. You know, she's holding a butterfly, you know, and when you are reading an oracle card, you know, so for folks who are here, when you're reading a card, you're reading, okay, so you have the words, you have the image, but you also want to look into the imagery, look at the faces, see what resonates with you, feel in your body what the deeper levels of information are. You know, for some people, a butterfly might have a different meaning for them. You know, some folks have they might say a butterfly is my grandmother, you know, and if you feel that and you're like, you know, then that is what it is. You know, trust your inner guidance. Trust your inner guidance when you're doing readings. So that is for Mama Love.
I mute myself because I notice it cuts down on static. But Mel, Hey Mel, welcome. And again, if you're you can see what we're doing. I'm not going to go through a whole recap here. But Mel says, okay, ladies, he has a question. Do you want to?
Yes. So Mel, I actually want to, if I could just step away really quickly and grab and show Mel.
Go ahead. Yeah.
Okay. So talk to them, Goddess Viv.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay. So this question: what are the most powerful foundational books for starting the journey into African spiritual traditions, particularly those centered around gods and goddesses? That's a great question, Mel. And I want to see what she says because I'll have to write it down. And, you know, hold on. Yeah, I want to write down what she says when she comes back. And we will pull some more cards, absolutely, for folks. In fact, I want to show, this is another one of my favorites, guys. What I'm loving about this deck is the range of ages, right? So this is Oshun the Magi, right? Alchemy, transformation, change. So I love that, you know, a woman in the wise woman stage, Oshun represented, in a mature woman in up in her years, right? Holding a lot of wisdom. So this is another one that I love. I want to show her too when she comes back. So we will definitely handle that question. And Mel, okay, and Mel will do that, absolutely. I was just showing them this deck and just praising that you have, you know, a real range of ages as well.
Yes.
So I really appreciate that.
Thank you. It's always important for me to show different skin colors. You know, we have the range, different hair textures, different ages, and different body sizes. You know,
that was the other thing I was going to say. Absolutely, absolutely.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
So Mel, I ran to my bookcase and my in my office, and I would have, you know, if I would planned, I would have brought you many more books, but I just grabbed what I was able to see, you know, in a moment like that. And so here's what I want to just share with you, just some books that are, you know, so for people who are into the divine feminine.
Oh, of course. Well, that's a classic.
Right?
Classic. That's a classic.
And this is a really great book as well. Zulu Shaman, as you can see, is like a well-worn copy.
I have that back in the States. I hope I packed it.
Wonderful book. Ian Levansat, this is not the book that I was looking for, but again, it was like a 30-second grab.
Which one is that? I can't see it.
Don't worry, it's not this one. It's just the one I grabbed. It's the very first book, which is probably out of print. You can probably get an old copy of it. I'm trying to remember what the name of it was. Maybe you can search for me while I'm doing this, and if not,
yeah, let me see.
It's put in like her very like first book, when she was more doing her work as a Yoruba priestess.
Okay. Okay. Wait. Oh, she's got a lot. Hold on.
I'll find it in a moment. Then this is another really good one, Jambalaya by Louisa Tesh.
Wait. Let me see. Jambalaya. Okay.
And I may be doing an interview with her pretty soon. She's pretty awesome. So that's
can you tell us a little bit about that book? Like why?
Yes.
1 or 2 sentences.
So this book is, well, I'll just read from the back. So it says, you know, a marvelous blend of memoir, folk wisdom, and African American beliefs. It is I love the way that she makes it personal. She takes our practices, and it feels like you're almost reading like a family cookbook. It's jambalaya, is what it is. You know, different, you know, like spirituality, but in a way that is really accessible. And then I would be remiss if I didn't recommend my very first book with Hay House, African Goddess Initiation. As you can see, is a big mama jama, because for me, whenever I teach and work around, you know, African spirituality, it is not only the work that I delve into, not only how the practices are on the continent of Africa, the 54 plus beautiful countries, but all of us in the diaspora, the way that those traditions have for me is a very important part of the conversation. My background is as a sociologist, my undergrad degree. So how those traditions have expanded, you know, to all of us throughout the diaspora as a part of the conversation. And so this book is, for me, you know, I think a very powerful place to start. And although it's named African Goddess Initiation, I have a lot of men who have written to me, or a lot of folks who have written to me and said, you know, the men in my life are reading this book as well and finding, you know, great promise and healing. And it has rituals. Ritual is a very important part of this book. It has histories. It has journeys and pathways, and gives you a lot of knowledge, a lot of foundational knowledge.
Gigi is asking, is it tapping the power within? Because she has
Yes,
so many.
that's it. Thank you.
Oh, it is? Okay,
Yep,
okay.
I
I
have
saw
like
that
3
one, but I
copies
was.
of it. Yes, tapping the power within. When I first met Mama Iamla, I sent her a message and I was like, I remember back in the day, I would be on the subway reading Tapping the Power Within, my sister and I. And so, yes, thank you. Yes.
Okay. Wow.
It's out of print, but you can probably,
It is out of print?
well, it may, you can, but you can find anything these days. So you can find
Abe,
it,
is it called Abe Booksellers? You can find it at,
yeah,
you can
find it.
Yeah.
You can find it. It would, and also, Abe would have it. You can find it. Yeah.
Mel, who is also a regular channel member, would love, here, I'm going to put up his comment. I'd love a card pulled around my dreams and creative projects I've been lovingly obsessed with lately.
Okay, so I got a nudge to pull for you from the Secrets of the Ancestors Oracle. So I'll do
Okay.
both. I'll do both. Here's Secrets of the Ancestors Oracle. That's this deck. But I'm going to do both. I'm going to do Faces of Oshun and then Secrets of the Ancestors Oracle for our good friend Mel. Okay. So Mel is creative right now and making Okay, so let's see. What does Mel need to know right now? Okay. All right. So I'm going to take this card and I'm going to put it together now with a card from here. And we get clarity on what you need to know, Mel. Okay. All right. So this is, again, I'm pulling now from Secrets of the Ancestors Oracle. And we'll put them together and see what Mel is needing to know.
We may have to do this again.
Yeah, I think we will. I think this will be the first of many. I'm feeling really. All right. So back to Mel. We're in Mel's energy. All right. Okay. All right. Very, very interesting, Mel. So I am getting the energy of, so between the two messages that came up for you. So Oshun of Mother's Milk that we were just talking about.
Okay, Mel, this is my card that I got today, so don't copy me. Okay, what's going on? It's a beautiful card.
Which is the energy, Mel, of prosperity. All right. The energy of nurturing and harvest, the energy of overflow. If we think of mother's milk is, it's a supply that grows and nurtures a baby, that creates the vitamins that the baby needs at just the right time. Along with, and then the ancestors' message for you is emotional self-care. Mother of water, emotional self-care.
But you see how those kind of just
work right together, work perfectly together. Mother's milk and mother of water, emotional self-care. So Mel, I think that this is going to be a really, really wonderful time for you creatively. But what you want to make sure to do is to nurture yourself, to take good care of yourself, to not overtax yourself, to be where you are, be present with your artwork, be present with your creative ventures, come from a place, the energy of overflow, not the energy of scarcity or the energy of desperation. I don't know if you're doing your work, for compensation, which you absolutely should be. But we got the message that, yes, this is a prosperity is there for you. You want to do it in a way that feels nurturing for you, not in a way that feels desperate or, like you've got to, be an energy that feels out of alignment. Okay. So hopefully that is works for you, Mel. Let us know if that is.
If I may comment on that, I feel like it is encouraging him to sort of the feminine aspect, which is for men and women, of manifesting. Like you said, don't push yourself to that hustle culture, right? That hustle culture is killing us. Okay.
Yes. And how amazing that Mel, sorry to interrupt, that, Mel pulled two mother cards.
That's what I'm saying. It's really saying to him, go at, like you said, pace yourself, nurture yourself, let it overflow from you. Don't, it's not like you're trying to squeeze it out.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
I love that.
Exactly. Yes.
I love that.
Yeah, you gotta let it flow.
So here, okay, good, good, good. I think this is the response after, but absolutely. And it makes sense because in fact the divine feminine is that creative, that it's like it's like nurturing, giving, but it needs, and then that's where the masculine creates a balance as well of protection, support, order. It is beautiful, right? And we have both of those aspects within us. But as I'm
Yeah.
saying, for many women, we have, and I just want to say again, especially to Black women, we get like, oh, we get slammed. Oh, masculine, masculine. I'm not saying it in that way. It's been a survival aspect. It's been just for us to survive that we have had to, take this other, it's really not us, but this, like, the hustle, get it done, just keep going, burn the candle at both ends. And then what happens? Burnout. Right?
Yes. Yes.
Reproductive issues.
Yes,
Right.
I was
So
there
many
with
of us
all of it.
suffer from.
Fibroids and all of it. I was there right there in the middle of it, Goddess Viv. And,
Yeah.
from the outside, like I've always been a very frilly, girly girl, hair, makeup, like all of that. Like, and so from the outside, my presentation was feminine, but I was masculine in the way that my spirit was aligned with the world. I was masculine, fully seated in masculine, and not even divine. This is not divine masculine energy, the energy of hustle, the energy of competition, the energy of scarcity, the energy of beating yourself up if you don't achieve certain things.
Yeah.
The energy of capitalism and consumption and all of that, was very, very out of alignment with the divine feminine, although I was visibly a feminine woman. So
And that absolutely can happen. And I'm sure some of the viewers, we can see it or sense it in it. Yeah, that's what I'm seeing. It's not always about presentation, right?
right.
It's an energetic thing. And we've been encouraged to be like that. So on the one hand, especially Black women, and I would say Black and brown women, we're encouraged to work hard, be the workhorse, give, give, give. And at the same time, then also criticize, well, you're doing everything. You don't, you're taking over the man's role. I'll give you a really quick random example, Abiola. Years ago, I was struggling. I took a job. I think I was just like doing like some sort of deliveries or like messengering because I was in New York City. I was young. I had the energy. And I was struggling, you guys. I was struggling with this huge box. I was trying to get it off the bus. And I was really skinny then. I was a skinny little thing. And and a Black man said to me, he goes, well, what do you think you took a man's job? Like you took it away from a man. And I'm like, listen, I'm just, and I still remember this, and this was decades ago, rather than helping me, right? Rather than going in his masculine and saying, let me help you with that, right? Do you see that difference?
Yes. Yes.
Instead, it was attack because you took a man's job. I'm like, this is what I could get to have food on the table.
Right.
And what you could have done that would have been beautiful and impressive, and just because, and he was a big, tall guy. Pick the damn box up, put the box on the sidewalk.
Yes.
Done.
Yeah.
So, and I just remember feeling so hurt and like humiliated. Like, you see me struggling with this. Do I look like I'm having fun to you? Right?
Yes.
So comment, you guys, if you just, on what we're sharing. I do want to know what you guys think. So that was very painful for me. And that's what, we don't want. And I don't want to get into this. We know we don't want to get not political, but into that energy that there are forces that want us to fight each other.
Yeah. Yes, absolutely.
Because when you're fighting, you're busy fighting and throwing shit at each other. What's happening above you? Who's gaining?
Yes.
It's so obvious to me. It is so obvious.
The forces of distraction.
Distraction and destruction. Distraction and destruction.
I want to just turn our attention to Mel and just share some love with Mel, who says that Mel has been thinking about their mother recently.
Oh, where is that? Oh, okay, I see it. Mel, thank you so much for that super chat.
Yeah, and so then that's when
Oh,
I pulled
isn't that
pulled the
interesting?
and pulled the double mother cards from two totally
Absolutely, it
different.
was about mothering and being nurtured.
Yes.
Like I think it's almost it's a message of like I'm still here. I'm here. That energy, that support of the mothers is still there for you.
Mm,
So that's
yes.
really beautiful.
Yes.
You've
Yes,
been
and
dreaming of her.
yes, and especially because you pulled her from the ants, and that's probably why. Remember, Mel, I've been pulling from the Faces of Oshun deck. That is,
And you switched over. You said yes.
I feel like it's the ancestor deck that I need to pull
You
from.
did. You did. Wow. This is deep. This is deep.
Yeah.
So we all can tap in. Okay? You all can tap in, and these cards are tools. They're tools, or not even, I mean, I feel like they're a it's like a methodology. It's a way for you to have a more concrete, like, okay, an answer, right? It maybe there are different ways as well, right? It doesn't have to be oracle cards. Obviously, there's different ways through dreams,
Yes.
but this is a support, and it's tangible. So it's a
Yes.
little bit easier, right? What do you think, Abiola, in terms of
It,
working
it,
with?
It's exactly that. I do feel very strongly that they are tools. I say that the cards are communication devices, that
Okay.
each one really is a specific language. It's a specific language and a way of communicating. And it is almost as if you have your own, like, old school, like, doctor's toolbox of the things that help you. And one could be meditation, it could be working out, it could be dancing, it could be, and
Hmm.
oracle could be a very important part of that. And I recommend that everybody, just get it. It doesn't have to be my deck if I'm not your zhuzh, if you're not aligned with me, but pull a card every day. Pulling a card
Right.
every day is a very foundational spiritual practice that everyone could do, a good gateway practice to
Hmm.
be able to just orient and ground yourself for the day and have some guidance moving forward.
I think that's great advice. And yeah, it doesn't, like me, I'm pulling, because of what I do and everything, I'm pulling multiple cards, and then it's like it takes a while. Then I
Yeah.
gotta, like, analyze. So you could just pull one card. Just pull. You don't have to get carried away. Okay. Mel has a comment here. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Mm. Oh, that's beautiful. Best cook of Southern
Oh,
dishes. Oh, that's beautiful, Mel.
yeah, yeah. Keep doing your work, Mel. I want to ask you, is it related to, is it disabled? What is the work? Put it out there. What are you working on? If you're comfortable. And
Yeah.
just again, to the degree you're comfortable. What can we ask folks? What are they wanting to manifest? That might be a nice way to kind of,
Yes.
I,
Yes.
I
Really
feel
love
like that can be challenging for people. Sometimes I feel like, like, I don't know. I don't know what I'm.
This is a very complicated question. I teach a lot around manifestation, and I did yesterday actually a whole workshop just on this question, just on desire, because it is very complicated. A lot of us have either been taught directly not to desire, not to want. Even the word desire, it feels like it's an illicit thing, and it's not. But a lot of us have been taught also by maybe the hard knocks of life to, okay, if I don't want anything, I won't be let down. And even when I teach vision board, I call them visionary board workshops, I always have to start off by saying, I don't want your safe vision boards. So right now, with you all who are going to type into the comments what you're manifesting, we don't want your safe vision, your safe desires. When we ask these questions, we have the things that we feel safe to say in company, that we know that we're not going to get ridiculed for, that we won't get beat up, or we won't beat ourselves up about. I want the ones that are the desires that are really in your heart, in your soul, in your womb space, for folks who, relate to that, the ones that make you feel a little bit uncomfortable and a little bit on edge because they're saying to you, oh, this is what you came to do, and it could be something as simple as something for, with your children, your family, your parents, your siblings, whoever's in your family group or friend group, or it could be something on a larger scale. But whatever it is, what is calling you forward right now? That's the question.
I mute myself to kind of
Yeah.
make the quality better there. Wow. So let's give folks some time to type, and really drop into it. Like, what are you manifesting? Because right now that we are in chaotic times, you could say we knew, and that we did. I don't like so much signed up for it. It sounds so sort of, I don't know. It sounds
Yeah.
kind of banal. I mean, many of us have been here many times. I do like the phrase star seed. I do feel we come in with gifts,
Mm-hmm.
and it might seem small, but it might literally save three people's lives. I mean, how powerful is that? Or it might influence 500 people, 1,000 people. I don't know if the scale matters as much as that you do
Yes.
what you came, what you incarnated to do, what you
Yes.
incarnated to do. And, it may be with plants. Maybe this is for someone I'm getting, maybe you're just wonderful with plants. You take a cutting and then it's like a bush, like 2 weeks
Yes.
later, and you give that to elderly people at the nursing home. So their rooms have some plants, some life. I don't know. Like I said, this is just coming to
Right.
me.
Or like
Um,
Mel said, with Mel's mom being, this best cook of,
Like of
perfect.
southern, yeah, southern dishes. Let's see here. Gigi says, I'm currently manifesting a new home for my family, a multifamily with enough space for my garden.
Okay,
Gigi, a
beautiful.
garden would be so fabulous for you.
Yeah.
She has a very mother loving energy to her, very, womanly energy. And I think a garden, pulling in my background from the holistic systems,
Yeah.
I'm pulling from, that is just connecting you to the earth. That's going to strengthen you, your energy. She has multiple children, and we know that can be a little bit draining, right, at
Yes.
times, right?
Yes.
Because you're nourishing them.
Yes.
So I think a garden would be fabulous, Gigi. I can
Gigi,
see that for you. I can absolutely see that for you.
I,
Mel has. Oh, go ahead. Go ahead.
I want to invite everyone to, when Gigi, like when a person puts their guide, their what's calling them forward. So
Hmm.
let's look at Gigi. We can actually see her face there, and
Yeah.
let's visualize it for her. Let's see it for her. We can co-manifest with
Mhm.
someone. So let's see it for her. I am in my first home that I bought a couple of years ago. My very first home that I moved to from Harlem with a garden, and this will actually be the first year that I am actually going to grow like greens and things in
Wow.
my garden. And that is a different energy to come from. So let's see it for Gigi. Let's see it for her. And so, Gigi, what I want you to start doing is, one of the things that I did when I was manifesting my home is that I would look out of the window and I would just describe seeing the garden and seeing the yard and seeing the flowers and just get
Yes.
so jubilant, even though I was looking out of the window and looking onto a Harlem pavement, right? But I was like, okay, no, this is not what I'm seeing. I would describe, the flowers and the richness and, everything that I could see. And then I thought about it and I realized, okay, even though my daughter at the time, she was 1 or less than 1, and I was like, well, it's my house for my daughter and I, so she's got to see it too. So I started holding her up with me at the window, and you can do this with your older kids. And I started to say, Ruby, look at the flowers. Oh my goodness, Ruby, look at that. Oh, look at the butterflies. And so I describe it so that, and she's now a great manifester because of that. And so do this with your children. This is a practice actually that's in this book, From Imagination to Reality, Secret Manifestation Lessons and the Law of Assumption from Abdullah, Master Alchemist.
Wait a minute. Wait. Is that your second book?
This
Because
is,
I
yes.
want to get that Abdullah one. Can you
Yes.
say a little bit about, you may have to come back, but say a
I
little bit about
know.
who Abdullah is for
Yes.
folks who don't know relative to what they've heard, but maybe didn't make a connection.
Yes,
Okay.
yes. So Neville Goddard is one
Mhm.
of the premier foundational teachers of manifestation that all of the manifestation teachers, basically 99% of them that you would see right now on social media, their teachings come from either directly Neville or someone who came from someone who came from someone who came from Neville.
From Neville, right.
And the same for, my teachers, like Dr. Wayne Dyer, late great Dr. Dyer, and people like that all came from the school of studying from Neville Goddard.
Yes.
Neville Goddard, his teacher was a Black Ethiopian mystic named Abdullah, who lived in New York City and practiced in New York 100 years ago. And
Wait, he was in New York?
He lived in New York. Yes. He lived in New York. He lived and worked in New York before, during, and after the Great Depression. And so this
I
is
did not know that.
of Neville. And so that is this book, From Imagination to Reality, which is, oh my goodness, like I just feel so honored to have been given the channeling of bringing forward that book.
That's fantastic. Gigi says, let me put it up because you might be, yeah, for everyone. Yes, 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 yes. That's a wonderful practice. I always think we need also to bring our children into this. I always say that, Abiola. Well, it's natural for them. So your daughter's probably thinking, Mommy can see all this. Like, for her mind, it's like, okay.
She's a master manifester. She really is. She really is. And so it's wild.
Imagine starting at that young age, just the positivity. You're giving her the permission to like dream and see. Right, because this is just factual. Before anything is created, it happened in somebody's mind, right? I'm looking out at some old buildings from the 1800s. Somebody had to, what do the windows look like? Oh, I want the brick here, and then I want that red brick. So it starts in the mind.
Everything, the phones or laptops that we're talking on right now all started in someone's imagination.
Everything. This has been so wonderful. I just feel like now I'm getting thirsty because we've been talking.
Me too.
Yeah. Thank Abiola. There's one more. Is there anything you want to share about anything? This is new. So this is your newest thing. This is your newest manifestation, right?
Yes. So Faces of Oshun is my newest deck. It comes out on Tuesday the 25th, which if you're watching this after, it's already out, but it's available for pre-order right now for everyone. The link that I put in the private chat, which folks can access by just going to my site, womanifesting.com. So like manifesting.com, but womanifesting.com. If you go to my site and you go to you click to the page, the information page about the deck.
I'll put it again. Here we go. Yeah.
You scroll down to the bottom of that page, you will see an area that should be live actually later today. So by the time most people watch this, it'll be live. But the page is up now. And actually you can fill it out, but it's just that we have to adjust some things. But
from
if
back end,
if you put your receipt number in there, wherever you buy the deck from, then you'll be on my list and you'll be able to get, I have Oshun's Honey Hypnosis, I have Oshun's Sweetening Workbook, and a number of different gifts for you, as well as when the deck comes out, I'm going to have a 5-day challenge and an Oshun, Oshun festival, and a number of things that you want to make sure that you are on the list for.
You are going to be busy. Okay, so why don't I'll put that below the video as well then. Once we end, I'll put that in the like permanent under the bottom there. All right, guys, so we've been live for an hour and I said to Abiola, we'll just do 30 minutes, So no, this has been fantastic. And really, I'm especially grateful for you pulling. I think that was really quite nice and absolutely, you brought forward what folks needed to know. Certainly for Mel, for Gigi, who else? There was somebody else too. There were 2 other folks you read for.
There was KK, right? KK.
It was KK. Yeah, it was KK. Jules, I think we're both, we're tapped out. We've been yakking, showing books.
But Jules, on Tuesday, I don't know the time, but on Tuesday, on the launch day of the deck, I'm going to be doing a live and pulling cards on Hay House's channels. So if you follow me on socials at Abiola TV on Instagram.
And the links will be below for that. Those are already. Yeah. Give us a time frame, though. You're thinking about a week, you said?
No, this is on Tuesday the 25th, this coming Tuesday.
Oh, Tuesday the 25th. Okay.
Like it's at 2 o'clock, like probably at 2 o'clock or something like that.
It'll be on Hay House?
It's on Hay House's Facebook page and Instagram.
Okay, probably even from there. Could we access it, do you think, going to hayhouse.com and then
Probably like it's a little complicated on their on their site.
Okay.
The easiest to find probably on my Instagram, because I have like less less than they do. So you'll find it on my Instagram.
Well, that is wonderful. Mel says this was powerful. KK for me. Yes, this was wonderful. We'll definitely do this again. I mean, because there's so many different directions we could have gone in. And guys, do you see how much overlap we have? I mean, everything she said, I'm like, yeah, no, I'm into.
I so much more than we knew. More than we knew, right? Manifesting. I said we had more in common than we knew actually at the beginning of this.
Yeah. I did not know you trained as an artist. I didn't know that. Yeah. And the manifesting, I knew. I mean, you're manifesting. And I think there are not that many voices of color. I'll just say of color even talking about manifesting.
Yeah.
Right? I don't think there are.
Yes. We have things in common. We'll do this again. So thank you for
having. Definitely do this again. So thank you so much for being here. It was great. And guys, I'm gonna end the stream. Abiola, stay on for a bit, and replay folks, put questions in. Maybe she'll pop back in, or I can answer them if I feel it's appropriate. Like I'll take a shot at it. But Abiola, come back maybe in a couple days, and she can answer any questions, right? For the replay folks, which are the majority of my viewers are going to be replay, because first of all, this is a weird time, right? It's a weird time. So, but they'll feel the energy. They will feel the energy. So thank you guys so much for watching. Gigi says thanks. Oh my goodness. Jonas. Hey, Jonas, I just saw you. Bye, guys. Let's see.